Hi, I'm Renee Perrin.
We are here today to visit this charming and amazing zoo, one that is on the fast track of becoming a world-class zoo, right here in our backyard. Welcome to Discover South Coast.
Discover South Coast is brought to you by South Coast Multimedia, providing compelling and creative video productions for your business. Whether it's video advertising, product or brand promotions, animated explainer videos, training videos, or other promotional, event, or support videos, catch the wave with South Coast Multimedia. And produced in cooperation with the Buttonwood Park Zoological Society.
In the 19th century, New Bedford, Massachusetts, once the capital of American whaling, transformed itself into the front runner of the textile industry. The city remained a wealthy, thriving community. In 1894, New Bedford opened the Buttonwood Park Zoo, much like New York's Central Park Menagerie, which opened just 30 years earlier. Buttonwood Park Zoo became not only a refuge for animals, but also a place where New Bedford residents, workers, and their families could enjoy an experience with nature and wild animals within the city limits. By the mid-20th century, the sun began to set on the textile industry in New Bedford, and the city once again transformed itself. By the mid-1990s, the zoo also began a transformation and closed for a complete renovation. It would reopen again in 2000, beginning the new millennium with a new upgrade and a new vision. Buttonwood Park Zoo is located on 7 acres within Buttonwood Park. It is owned and operated by the City of New Bedford with the support of the Buttonwood Park Zoological Society. We're here today to meet Paula Montgomery, Director of Community Engagement at the zoo.
In my role as the Director of Community Engagement, it's really about telling our story, trying to help people to understand that, yes, we're a zoo in the traditional sense of what people think about coming and seeing animals, engaging with animals and enjoying themselves, but we're also doing so much more, from education to conservation to community events to fun family events and things like that. So really telling our story is a big part of my role.
It has been many years since I have been to Buttonwood Park Zoo, and I must confess I was astounded at what I found there.
Many people don't realize that the Buttonwood Park Zoo has a full-time veterinarian and its own hospital right here on site.
I'm Dr. Whitney Green, staff veterinarian at the Buttonwood Park Zoo. All of our animals here, ranging from ducks all the way up to elephants, receive a routine preventative health exam once a year. Some of our animals that are more geriatric will receive more periodic care, but a day can range from anywhere from a fish to an elephant and everything in between.
Not only are we the 12th oldest zoo in the country, which I think is pretty unique, but we're, our size, while we're a small zoo, and in fact we're named one of the finest small zoos in North America by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, sometimes a very large zoo can take hours upon hours, and whereas we are about 45 minutes to an hour and a half to really get around and to see everything. And I think that does lend itself very well to families with small children.
Our first stop is at the Rainforest Rivers and Reefs exhibit, where you never know what you might find in an enclosure. We are here today to meet with aquarist and zookeeper Kyle Correa, and also with Keith Lovett, the zoo's director.
Hi, my name is Kyle Correa. I am an aquarist and zookeeper here at the Buttonwood Park Zoo. Right now I am operating and manning our touch tank, which is an interactive environment for kids that we have here. And all the species that are in this tank are local to our waters right off our coast. So right in front of you guys, that's a chain dogfish or a chain cat shark. They have a couple different common names. It's a small local species of shark, works really well for touch tanks. They're very calm, docile. Kids love to touch them. They have that beautiful pattern. Then you have a bunch of different sea stars, sea urchins, whelks, scallops, all sorts of different local stuff around here.
Being a small zoo and realizing you're never going to have the biggest animal population compared to other zoos in the country, you really had to put a lot of emphasis on our programs. Because we're never going to have a 6-hour visitation to the zoo, the programs that we offer in the zoo have to be extra special. I say oftentimes we'll never be the biggest zoo. That doesn't mean we can't have some of the most impactful programs of any zoo in the country. A lot of the emphasis of the zoo going forward is going to be focusing on those species that are not only threatened in the wild, in many cases could be on the verge of going extinct in the wild. We have captive breeding programs, we have created habitats where these animals will thrive with the purpose of not only creating biological reserves for these animals to live at the zoo in case their populations continue to falter in the wild, but also to create up conservation programs that actually will help these animals where they live in the wild as well. Usually these animals are part of very elaborate genetic breeding programs. So there's a lot of science that goes into the acquiring of these animals. We basically are bringing animals in that are not related to each other to set up for breeding programs, and this is all based on genetic analysis. And it's not just genetic analysis of the animals at our zoo, it's genetic analysis of zoo animals all the way across the country at many zoos. There are a lot of global species that are in desperate need of work that we can not only do very well here at the zoo, we can provide great habitats to. So we are shifting to more of a global focus to really focus on working with those species in most need of work, both in a zoological captive situation and in the wild as well. One of the species that we are bringing to the zoo and building new habitats for is the red panda. Now, the red panda, which is an endangered species from temperate areas of Asia, is a species that not only needs captive work at zoos because of its endangered status in the wild, it's also a species that will thrive in our temperate climate here in North America. Our New Bedford climate is actually very similar to where they're found in the wild, so we are choosing a species that will thrive in the environment that we can create here in New Bedford.
So the zoo currently offers so many different educational programming opportunities for people of all ages. We know that our educational programming will continue to grow, and we will be one of the largest environmental education facilities in the South Coast.
Our next stop is Charlie's Nature Play. To meet with the zoo's curator of education, Carrie Hawthorne.
My name is Carrie Hawthorne. I'm the Curator of Education here at the Buttonwood Park Zoo. And the job of the Education Department, of which we have 3 full-time staff, is really to make the vision and mission of the zoo come to life for our visitors, for the community, and for everyone that we engage with here at the zoo. So over the last 4 or 5 years, we've really been developing lots of new education programs here at the zoo. We have programming for everyone from 2-year-olds all the way up to nursing homes and everything in between. We deal with a variety of audiences, everything from our families who come visit us, overnight programs with scouts, camp programs for our summer and after-school programs, as well as our school programs, which are all aligned to all the state standards. So as part of the master plan of the zoo, the education department has a big role in the big plans that we have here. For example, Charlie's Nature Play, which was opened this July, is the first of the education programs that have been built as part of that master plan. This is a space where we are hoping to really engage our visitors in this idea of nature play, which is really a worldwide movement to get kids back out into nature. The next part of our master plan that will really impact our education programs is the domestics barn. This beautiful barn that was built by the Voc Tech students is going to be renovated into 2 classroom spaces as well as a larger rental facility in the hayloft up above. And this is really going to make it possible for us to take these programs that we've been creating and expand on them, because we are already completely at capacity with the 2 classrooms that we have currently. So we are busting at the seams to get more students, more families, more community members in here for our wonderful education programs. On the other side of Charlie's Nature Play, we'll be building a new animal ambassador facility. So our animal ambassadors are animals that we are able to take out for school programs, out into the community with the Zoomobile, as well as for encounters here on grounds. Anything from a great horned owl to a turtle and everything in between. We want to provide a really great space for these animals to live, but also to have a space where visitors can engage with them in a more meaningful way.
Our next stop is the Wildlife Education Center. But first, let's look at some of the animals along the way. The Wildlife Education Center contains several exhibits, classrooms, and the Bear's Den Cafe. It's also home to one of the most remarkable educational tools at the zoo. Developed by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Science on a Sphere is an educational tool for people of all ages, utilizing computers and video projectors to display planetary data on a 6-foot animated globe.
And what you see here is our Science on a Sphere. This is an amazing tool that was designed by NOAA to be a visualization of data, because one thing we know is that people have a really hard time visualizing global issues like climate change, like migration of animals, like sea currents and things like this. This particular Science on a Sphere is one of about 150 around the world, so we're very lucky to have one, but we're only the 3rd zoo to ever have one. So the Smithsonian Zoo has one, and the Detroit Zoo has one, and so we're the 3rd zoo to install Science on a Sphere. This is actually satellite imagery taken from space. And so what we have is these polar orbiting satellites that will go around the Earth about every 99 minutes and take 400-mile wide pictures. And then they're able to take all those images, piece them all together like a big puzzle, and put something like this is called the blue marble up on the sphere. NOAA and NASA kind of feed data sets onto here very regularly. Right now, if I look, we're up to about 616 data sets that we could show you on here.
Thank you, Paula. I had so much fun today. It's a wonderful zoo.
Thanks so much, Renee. We truly appreciate sharing the zoo with Discover South Coast, being featured as part of this wonderful web series, and telling everybody how many great things are happening here at the Buttonwood Park Zoo. So thank you for being with us.
Be sure to stop by the Northwoods Gift Store, located in the zoo's administration building, for animal-themed gifts and zoo souvenirs. Zoo members receive a 10% discount. There are many activities and programs offered by the zoo that we could not cover in this episode. I encourage you to visit the zoo's website at bpzoo.org to learn more about them. The Buttonwood Park Zoo is open year-round with the exception of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. Summer hours from April through October are 9 to 5 daily. Winter hours, November through March, are 9 to 4 daily. Admission prices for the zoo vary for New Bedford residents, non-residents, and age groups. The zoo also offers a wide variety of membership levels and perks. Please remember, pets are not allowed inside the zoo.
We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Discover South Coast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. See you next time on Discover South Coast.
Discover South Coast was written and produced by South Coast Multimedia, providing dynamic and engaging video productions and services for businesses and organizations. Visit us online at southcoastmultimedia.com. Would you like to become a sponsor of Discover South Coast? Email us at sponsor@discoversouthcoast.com or call us at 401-683-8884.